I'm not lost, but I'm not found. I'm not up, but I'm not down. And I love you, and I love you, and I love you, and I love you, and it's so easy. And I love you, and I love you, and I love you, and I love you, and it's so
All right, how's everyone doing? Thought I'd start with some playing today. Let my hair dry. I just got out of the shower. Too much information. Let's go to the main screen. Awesome. How you doing? My name's Aaron Short. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I was serious about letting the hair dry. It's still wet. Great to see everyone. I'm wearing the headset because last week the heater was hissing and ruined the video. So I'm working on getting that repaired soon. Got to get the people to come and fix all this stuff in the place. Until then, I will be using the headset for most of my stuff. Let's do we've done a lot on the guitar lately. Let's go bring this level down a little bit. Let's do a video today on Q&A again. Let's bring this down. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Yep. Testing. Yep. It's good. Yeah, let's do a Q&A. And happy Veterans Day. Thank you to all the veterans that fought and serviced and everything they did for us. And I hope everyone's well. It's so hot in here. Isn't the weather crazy right now? It's really hot. And I'm waiting for it to drop and get cold again. Yep. Okay. I think I'm settled on that volume though. Hope everyone's well. Let me know how you're doing. I've been tweaking the setup this week, so I don't have my Stream Deck this week, unfortunately. So I might be a bit slower to respond. As always, put your questions in the chat, and if you want to send a super chat, I'll answer it right away, which I'd really appreciate. But you don't have to. But otherwise, I can't guarantee I'll get to your question, but I think I will. And turn my headphones down a bit. Everything's changed this week. Okay, great. So I've got the guitar here, but like I said, I'm just going to do a general Q&A today. But if you want me to show anything on the guitar, I can, because I'm holding it right now. Okay, cool. So let's start at the top and work our way down. Bidoin, how you doing? Good to see you. Love and happiness from New Orleans. David Belchers, how you doing, David? Been a while. Some big news coming out tomorrow. I'll try to make a video about it. I've just got a press release come in that you may be interested in. Madfred Manchester says hi. And that's Graham. How you doing, Graham? Lewis, when is the AEG coming to the UK? Well, if you watch the live stream I did with LR Bags, it seems like they're taking their time because a lot of companies do this. When they release something brand new, they don't want to rush it out because, what if there was a problem and they did a worldwide release? I know some companies do a worldwide release, but those companies often have the infrastructure to handle it. Not that LR Bags can't, but I'm talking about companies like Yamaha. And even them with their Tag 3 that I really want to try. Anyone got a Tag 3 yet? I really want to try that guitar. They are very slow to roll those out as well. So we don't know. I'm guessing in the new year. I'm guessing, but I have no idea. I've booked NAMM, so when I'm at NAMM in January, if you're around, Lewis, when I'm with LR Bags at their booth, we could ask them. And they should know by then. But it's a shame, isn't it? Because they're going to miss the holiday sales, of course. Patsy Smith fell asleep. Oh, that's nice to know. Sounds like people at my gigs this week. Rex says, good afternoon. Have you used Voice i3 with electric guitars and built-in amp sims? Yes, I have. The Voice i3 Extreme gets a lot of hate for its electric sounds. And while it doesn't have impulse response technology in the latest and greatest profiling and amp models, it's usable. I've heard people use it and it sounded decent. Is it as good as a Kemper or Quad Cortex? No. I mean, that's why I was reviewing the Headrush Core this week. That is really good. That's underrated for electric guitar sounds. They all sounded great to me. Maybe they're not as authentic as some of these other devices, but they were all fun to play. So if I was looking for an electric guitar thing that did some vocal stuff, I'd look at the Headrush Core. But the Voice i3 Extreme is still my go-to for the acoustic looping gig. For sure. Gorgeous tones. Thank you. So that was Quad Cortex, I've managed to hook up a remote MIDI pedal to do the looping, but it's not working quite as it should do yet. But it's at least I can loop now. And I just had quite a bit of EQ on there that I've been dialing in today. And a freeze effect that you could hear there, which I really like, which is like that feedback, that drone going through, quite a bit of reverb, and the looper. And that was it. So the key to this guitar really is, the mic is just below 12, the tone was at flat. The key to this guitar really is the EQ, external EQ, I believe. Dialing it into the sounds that you want to hear in your head. Jack, awesome. Just got the AEG one. Which one did you get, Jack? That's great. I'm happy for LR Bags, you know. They worked hard. And my job here is an independent reviewer. I'm not here to sell stuff. I knew this would be a good release because I tried it at NAMM, and I keep saying that on the channel. The reason I'm doing all this traveling lately that does cost a lot of money is because I get to try the stuff that I'm interested in. I think it's dangerous to have something just show up on the doorstep and they're like, make us a video, because the odds are you're not going to like it. I used to do that. I used to have a lot of stuff come through here, and you don't know the amount of stuff that I spent weeks trying to use and sent back because I just didn't have the time. I'm like, if I'm not passionate about it right away, I don't want to talk about it. It's going to come through in the video. So when I was at NAMM, it was a secret back then, but at the NAMM show, and it wasn't a huge secret. If you were at NAMM, you got to see them. They had these guitars at NAMM, and I just straight away. I mean, that's actually the teaser video that I put up at the start of the year, right, where I said to Lloyd, or I said to Mike at LR Bags, this feels like an old friend, you know, that I can't stop playing it. That was that guitar, a prototype, but nonetheless, I mean, of course, that was a prototype. So I have to be careful then, because the final product, I might not like it as much as the prototype, which is why I kept saying to them, please send me one as soon as you can. So if I do find anything I think you should tweak or change, I can tell you before you release it. And I say it to all companies now. My role these days is different. I want to find the stuff that I'm excited about, excited to explore, because you do have to explore the gear. You can't just get something and just make a review. I don't like it when that happens. They get the guitar, they make the review, it's wonderful, done. No, you'll notice with this guitar, I've really taken my time. I've taken 4 weeks, has it been? I've posted comparisons, we've done live streams, we've done interviews, I've asked you what you think about it, I've given you the facts, I've given you the recordings to listen to, and then you've gone out and bought them for yourselves. And that's, for me, that's a long-term review, like as in, I call it a project review now. So the whole month has been the review of this guitar. And I'm still reviewing it. I'm still getting my sounds dialed in. I'm still tweaking the setup to my liking. And then when I'm done, I'll post my final review with my detailed thoughts, not just, oh, I've unboxed it, sounds great, and send me another guitar. So that's where I'm coming from these days. And the reason I'm saying that is because if you travel to the companies, if you travel to the events, the trade shows, you can go around and play everything, and then you can hone in and say, right, I really like this. This is great. Let's do a project review around that. I just think that makes a lot of sense. Not that the bad things shouldn't be exposed, and I do expose things that I don't like. And again, that's only my opinion. I have to say that. But there is a review coming up soon where I'm reviewing some wireless systems, and I'll point out a few products that I didn't get. I'm not going to make a whole video about it, just slamming someone. That's not worth it. But I will put in those videos of the things that I tried and didn't work out for me, and then I'll point out the things that did work for me. So that's where I'm kind of coming from. So next year I really want to go. I've booked NAMM. I want to go to Germany again, maybe once or twice, and then I want to go to a couple of factories, and I want to find the things that I want to talk about. I don't want to just have random gear. Even the Headrush Core I just did with Sweetwater, I tried the Prime. I didn't like the size. I didn't like the harmonies as much as the Voice Live 3. But I thought, you know what? Now the core's smaller. Let me try the core, and then let me see what in there is better than Voice Live 3. Because it's very easy when you get a new piece of gear to just say, well, it's not as good as what I already have. Let's return it. And that's what I do. That's not, that's fine. But there's often things in there that are better, but we don't focus on them. When I get a new piece of gear, I tend to look for the negatives immediately. I didn't used to, but having played so many things, tried so many things, spent all this money on this stuff, and now doing it as a channel, I just tend to go straight for, right, what don't I like? And why shouldn't I use this? And I tend to overlook the things that are good. Okay, let's take this guitar for example. You could say straight away, "Oh, well, this is £6.5. I'll send it back. You know, £6.5, terrible. Oh, yeah, my guitar's only £5." Well, you know, that may be a valid point. I'm all for traveling light. I say that every week, but at the same time, you just heard it. It sounds incredible. It feels great, and it's a cool guitar. So, is that enough to write it off? And for some people, it will be. Don't get me wrong. Some people with back problems will write this off immediately and say, "I need a guitar that's £4." But anyone that's playing a Les Paul that then tells me this is too heavy as an acoustic, well, anyway, let's move on to the next question. What's the word? Ranting? No. Dennis says, "Hello everyone, can't wait to get my hands on the new Bags guitar." Yeah, they're very cool. I would say the ones I've played, I would definitely set them up lower. I do believe there may be a shim in there under the let's go to a close up here. Make sure I'm not in the wrong position. I do believe, let me zoom in, because we can do that here. I do believe that under that saddle there are some shims. I haven't looked. I think the Sunburst may have had them, and that's fine because you can remove them and effectively lower the action. I do think that the guitars that I've played so far, all three of them, it is three, right? Yeah. All three guitars that I've played do have slightly high action for me, but then again, for me, a lot of guitars ship with high action because it's easy to lower the action. You can sand this saddle down. You can just make sure it's flat and sand it down a little bit from the bass, and the action will drop. But having said that, I feel like a guitar like this is for plugging in, and I want it to have low action. That's just my preference. So I would definitely, you know, when I eventually get one of these, I'm gonna keep long term. I'll take it for a setup as well. I was just thinking, you know, I'd love them to make one. Maybe they can make me a custom. I'd love to have one that's satin finish, because look at the live stream. You see all this. You see all the reflections in the guitar. You see that? All the reflections in the guitar there. Well, if that was satin finish, you wouldn't see any reflections. You'd get a lot of body sound, which some people wouldn't like, because the good thing about this being glossy is that you don't get all that body sound. I'm actually surprised they didn't glossify this part as well, because this is satin finish. And look, check it out. I did it in the loop there. I thought it sounded pretty cool. So when you rub on the bridge, it's much louder than rubbing on the body. And I find that if I'm strumming like this, if you're not careful, if you rub your hand on it, you'll hear that. So, you know, I mean, you don't tend to do that anyway. You cut up your hand, right? You tend to strum away from the bridge. But my point is, I would quite like that to be all gloss. And then a version of this guitar in satin, maybe a satin top. Maybe not the back and the sides, because again, that will rub against your shirt and your clothes. But maybe they can make one with a satin top. I don't like satin top guitars in general. Like let's say a Martin or a Gibson. I don't want them. But I want the gloss top on those kind of guitars. But on something like the Cole Clark and this, I like to have a satin top, especially for the YouTube channel. Perhaps I could have Aaron Short music written on it as well. Now I'm just dreaming. Nonetheless, some observations. I wasn't going to talk about the guitar today, but you started it. It's your fault. Wish I could make my guitar sound like that. I don't think you even have a guitar, do you? Perhaps you should buy one of these. Wash hands. That's right. Always wash your hands before you play the guitar. No, I'm on fire today. Noah's sitting. Hi, I have a question. Great. Okay, we get away from the guitar talk about the Bags guitar. Do you? Oh, this is a question for everybody. Okay, not just me. Do you prefer the D18 or the D28? I've been researching both heavily and I'm kind of torn. Yeah, we should discuss this for a minute. Make this our question of the day. So, let me open up Google Chrome and go to good old Sweetwater. Thank you again, Sweetwater. That was my first video this week I did with them. That's awesome. I want to do more with them. Maybe some more acoustic focused stuff would be great. So let's jump over to the desktop. And let's make me a bit smaller. All right. So, the D18. The D18 is $27.99. They've got lots in stock now. I love this. Look at this. Awesome. So, you can pick the one you want. Feel free to use my affiliate link. I love Sweetwater because you can see the weight and the looks. And I look at both. I look at the pick guard, look at the top. I look for the weight. I like a nice light guitar. Because if you're going to install a pickup, it's going to make it a little bit heavier too. So I would go for probably, maybe, possibly this one, 402. I always start with the lightest and think, is there anything there that bugs me? No, I quite like that. So look at the fretboard, look at the back. So the back and sides are mahogany. Boomer's still hung up on these retro guitars. The back and sides are mahogany. A lightweight wood. Dry, airy, not too many overtones. Classic sound. And as you can see, a light guitar. 4 pounds, 2 ounces. That's lighter than most OM guitars. And the price, because it's mahogany, $27.99. And if you ring up Sweetwater and ask them, they'll probably do it for a little bit cheaper. Maybe do it around $26. You'd have to ask what their best price is shipped to you. In that case, don't use my link because you won't save any money there. But, oh look. No, that looks good. This one's nice. The fretboard's nice and dark too. Look at that. It's not a streaky fretboard. I'm not a huge fan. I did see Chris Martin on Friday, and he said the problem is, everyone, we ruined you because we made you think that ebony is perfect. Like there, you see there's a kind of a different color on the back of the neck there, but it's just the look of the wood. Having said that, you do get to choose the guitar when you do this. So I might look at this one. £4, 3. I love doing this. I could just do this all day on here. So, see, that's got the streaky fretboard, so I probably wouldn't go that direction myself. But you asked me which one I prefer. Well, I like both, and you have to decide. I'm just pointing out the pros and cons here. Lightweight, more affordable. Both got classic tone, a different tone. This is more of a dry, less overtones, honest, straight up dreadnought, airy, middle of the road. No, I can't think what the right words are, but you really have to hear them to know what I'm saying. And then the D28 isn't my favorite guitar actually because it doesn't have the scallop bracing. I would look at the HD28. But if you want to see these, because they're not scalloped, they have much more mid-range. They cut a lot more. I would say they're better for lead work. I'd say they're better for bluegrass. They're famous for bluegrass styles, right? Oh, actually, I've got a bonus for you. I'm going to show you this. One of the best guitars I've ever seen. So stay tuned, people. No, I'm not just trying to get you to stay on my live chat. I'm serious. So, I mean, let me know what you think of these in the chat. That's why we're here to chat, right? What do you think of this? Do you think which one of these looks good? Does the weight bother you? I'm curious. I want to know too. I mean, you know, just because I'm crazy enough to sit on here all day looking at guitars, does the weight bother you? Does the looks bother you? Look, does this bother you, this fretboard? I mean, it doesn't bother me. It wouldn't keep me up at night, but I just tend to look for the one that looks the best. And best is subjective. But anyway, because you have the non-scallop bracing, this is going to cut through a lot more. Okay? This is going to be like a bluegrass, a lead guitar. And when I owned one of these briefly a few years ago, oh, by the way, I've got, I won't say it. I'm just going to say, make sure you subscribe to the channel. There's lots of stuff coming this week. It's going to be a roller coaster week. I know I say that every week, right? But I mean it this time. I didn't love it because I like scallop bracing. Generally, unless it's a really old guitar that's loosened up. Now I'm offending Matthew with his D28. I'm not able to offend anyone. This is all I said. It's all subjective as how you play. But I'm just giving you my 2 cents. And feel free in the chat to disagree with me with what I'm saying. I don't mind. We're all here with opinions. So classic guitar D28. If you get one that's been played in a bit, I think they're wonderful. But if you get a new one, I tend to look at the HD28. The price isn't that much more, a few $100. Let's look at let's look at all of them while we're here, because we haven't looked at Martin for a while. Look at this. I just got to say, do you remember a few years ago there was no guitars in stock, and now there's 5 of each, and I bet when you buy one, another one will come into stock. I mean, I'm not taking the mick out of Sweetwater. I think it's great they've got stock. I think it's great that we can choose the guitar. I mean, look at this. I really like Guitar Center. I just went and did a trade-in with Guitar Center yesterday. They were very fair to me. Great company. Love them. Nice people there. Depends where you go, but great people, the one near me. And but the thing is, if you order one of these guitars from them, you won't see the pictures. So you could get any of these guitars show up, right? And any of these guitars could show up on your doorstep. So the question is, which one would you rather show up on the doorstep? So from these, look, £4.10. So a little bit more money, more in your face. Oh no, sorry, that was the D28, the HD28. A little bit more money, $3,399. So it's the same as the D28, but scallop bracing. It's going to be a bit like more mid-scooped. It's going to take the strumming really well. Going to sound like a hi-fi, when you cut the mid, smiley face EQ. You know, if you want my opinion, I'd buy this one right here. £4, 10 ounces. Of course, all guitars do vary. You might get this guitar and it might be the best guitar you've ever played. You might get this guitar and you might just not like it and want to return it. Well, the good thing is that Sweetwater will let you return it and not give you a hard time like Amazon do with some people that I know. I won't mention any names. I haven't been drinking either, I promise. I'm just having a great time on the live stream. This is a great looking guitar, brand new, scallop bracing. I would get this, and I'd get it from. I'd ring them up and say, "What's your best price today? Ship to me." Ask them to, do you a good deal because your friends were there on short. No, don't use my name for that. I'll get in trouble. Just, hey, what's your best price shipped? And try it, really play it. Make sure you love it, and then this is a guitar for life, a lifer. If you don't love it, send it back and try another one because all guitars are slightly different. But I mean, this is amazing. Look, what is this? £4, 10 ounces. It looks incredible. It's got the dark fretboard. Now, this is my choice. Did you ask me, or did you or not ask? Did you not ask me which one I would prefer? This is what I would buy. But I have got one more to show you, and I don't work for Sweetwater. I'm not a sales engineer. Imagine if Sweetwater sales engineers did this every week. You'd be in trouble. Some will argue you should have all 3. The D18 has a very different voice to the D28, and the D28 has a very different voice to the HD28. They all have very different voices. Some will argue that you should have one of each. HD28 for singer-songwriter, big boomy bass type thing. And by the way, the bass is only boomy in relation because of that scoop mid from the scallop bracing, I think. The D28's just more like all even right in the spectrum. And that's more for your bluegrass, for your punch power, mid. This is all like natural EQ, that's got the punchy mid-range. And then the D18, more of a kind of a sweet, dry-sounding, lightweight, airy guitar. It's probably not the right phrases, but there we go. That's right, Boomer says, use the Sweetwater link in the description. Yes, well, if you're feeling generous, you can. But like I said, they'll probably give you a discount. I'd rather you took the discount from them. I'd rather you rung them up, ordered this guitar, asked for the best price, saved about $300, and then you can always send me a coffee or buy me a coffee if you want to thank me later. Let's all do well out of this, shall we? I know you didn't even ask me to sell you a guitar. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just having fun. So this is the guitar if I was shopping today that I would buy. This one here. Based on those reasons. But I've recently discovered another guitar. In fact, 2 other guitars. There's a D35, which Thomas just pointed out. This is another non-scallop brace guitar with some differences. I think it's quite an acquired taste. Some people like the 3-piece back, some people don't. In the old days, there was a reason for the 3-piece back because of lack of wood, wood running out. These days, it's more of a throwback to that and cosmetics. I'm hit and miss with them. I've played some that I really like and some that I don't. Most HD28s I like. And then most D18s I like for different reasons. It's not my go-to. And then some D28s and some D35s I like. I have played, and I'll talk about it another day, a D35 that's older that I really like. But then I said earlier about the non-scallop bracing guitars. I think the old ones that are about 40, 50 years old are great because they are old. So the braces aren't scalloped, but the whole thing's moving and vibrating, and that makes up for it. That's my theory anyway. There's also an HD35 with the scallop bracing. I've never played one, I don't think. Some people will then say that's too much of a good thing. So be careful with that. Again, an acquired taste, but again, we've got 4 in stock. Wow. Yes, I haven't spent much time with an HD35. Sorry, HD35. And then you get to the 4D series where it's more about the bling, honestly. So I wouldn't go for them unless you want to spend a couple more thousand on the looks, which for some is a bit too much anyway. This has these closed back tuners, not the vintage. I like the vintage tuners. That's why I like the HD28. It's got the vintage tuners. This has the the modern tuners, and it has the 3-piece back, which is it's fine, but it's on the back. Now there's one more that this wildcard I've been threatening you with is a guitar that I've just discovered that's been on this site for a long time. It's absolutely amazing. I may or may not have one. I'm not going to tell you today. But Sweetwater have their own custom guitar. It's called the HD28V. Now, before you say all the problems with this guitar, again, remember I said at the start of the stream, there's things that we don't like. I'll say I tend to hone in on things that I don't like about stuff. Well, there's some things about this guitar that some of you will say, no, I'm out. I'm out straight away. All right. So this guitar has the full thickness neck. The full thickness neck is the neck that the guitars had in the 80s. I love it. Would I choose it to gig with? No, I'd probably take the bass guitar to a gig. But it feels amazing. I'm going to say that. To me, this is all my opinion, right? This guitar has an Adirondack top. Addy. Really, really nice. This is basically like your vintage Martin. Now, you could get a vintage Martin with these kind of specs for this kind of price if it was all done up new as new around this price. Like if you got a guitar that's 30 years old and had it sent to the factory and done up, it'd be around $4,000. So why not just buy one of these instead and make your own story with it? The case isn't the highest spec case you can get, but it's nice. It's an upgrade from the regular case. Addy top, rosewood back and sides, I believe. And there's a nice piece of rosewood. Look at that. Look at the red in that. Oof. Full thickness neck. Now here's the thing. The reason this neck works so well, in my opinion, and stay with me here, is the narrow nut. Now I know what you're saying. I can't play a narrow nut. People in forums everywhere right now are screaming, I cannot play a narrow nut. I'm being mean. But I'm trying to make a point. Okay, here's the really important thing about this. I owned, as you know, the Martin Authentic D28, and it had a 1 3/4 inch nut width, and it had a big V neck that got massive at the 12th fret. Like it's like my leg, and I got big legs, as you've seen. So I sold that. I just didn't find it fun to play. It was a very dry sound from the construction, no kind of natural reverb to the sound, and a lot of money to have tied up in one guitar for that, right? I just didn't. It was a wonderful guitar. I just didn't love it. So this guitar, I'll tell you why this works, and I've discovered this from the 80s Martins. The full thickness neck with the narrow nut is excellent. It's so good because the neck fills the hand, not too much. It's not a tree trunk. It's a nice, it's a nice. Okay, I'm 6'5". Bear that in mind if you're gonna buy one of these. But if you've got decent sized hands, if you like the bigger necks, it just fills the hand naturally. That's what I'm trying to say. It naturally fills the hand. And the nut is narrower, so that compensates for the bigger size. It's so good. It's amazing. I think this is one of the best guitars I've ever played. And again, it's only my opinion. So if you order this now, don't come after me next week. But I really think this, so you got Addy top. It's not VTS. I'm not a huge fan of VTS. I don't think VTS is a great thing in my opinion. So it's not VTS. It's Addy top. It's rosewood back and sides. Is it straight up rosewood? Let me just check. Yep, East Indian rosewood back and sides. It's got Addy bracing. It's got that full thickness neck. It's got a truss rod, which is adjustable, which a lot of the old ones like this would not have, which is a nice thing to have. Not essential in my opinion, but why not have a truss rod that you can adjust? And it's $38.99, so it's like another $1,500. But look at what you get for that money. And it's got scallop bracing, and it's got all the power and headroom you'd ever want with that sweet scallop bracing. If you really want a lifetime Martin guitar, in fact, I love this one I'm looking at. I want this. Look at this. Nice pick guard. Nice top. Nice dark ebony. They've saved the dark ebony for these guitars. Interesting headstock. I love the red in the back and sides there. Yeah, I would definitely buy this guitar right here. So if you want my opinion, you get to buy this and be done. Buy this and then just play this until it wears out and then have it refretted and keep playing it. This is one of the best guitars in the world. Wow, I just said that right there. Someone's going to buy one now and then tell me I'm wrong. Oh, that's fine. I think this is one of the best guitars I've ever played. At least the one that I've played is one of the best guitars I've ever played. And if you don't want to spend that money, if you don't want the bigger neck and you want the more modern neck, then that HD28 I showed you would be the next thing in line. But it won't have what this guitar has. But it will be more affordable. It will have that more playable neck to some people. And then I would then look, I mean, this is just me. D18s, I wouldn't tell people not to own the D18, but for me it would be the HD28 and this guitar. This guitar would be the first guitar I'd go for. If I wasn't going to get this, I would get the HD28. And then if I want to throw away even more money, no, I'm just kidding. If I wanted to invest even more money in Martin guitar, then I would buy a D18. That's what I would do. So there's my opinion. I've even given you a personal shopping experience today. If you're in America, you should consider my choices. But please don't tell me they're the best guitars you've ever played if you buy them, because I'll be jealous that I gave you the information. So be careful what you tell me next week. But yeah, this guitar here, absolutely mind-blowing. And the HD28 that I showed you, excellent. And then the other ones, can't really go wrong, but it's all personal choice. So there we go. Let me come back to the top here, keep things fair. That was for Noah. And then Noah's going to say you're in Australia, so it doesn't even matter what they've got the Sweetwater. Gary, happy Monday. Gary Roberts in Tucson, Arizona. Hang on. I've got several gigs under my belt with the Bags Torrified AEG1. Also a couple of gigs with the Duet in my Collings colorway. Very nice. I thought you'd like that jam, Gary. I hit that money note. You know what I mean? Of course, you mustn't hit it too many times or the money turns sour. You have to be very tasteful with these things. Thank you, Boomer. Place an order. Yes, I really want to try the Tag 3 so bad, but they're all out of stock. What a hit that guitar's been. Absolute hit of a guitar. I will get one. Whatever it takes to get one, I will. If it means playing, if it means playing all of the Carol concerts this December just to get my shillings together to buy a Tag 3, if it means writing a letter to Santa Claus, I'll do it. Because I really want to try the Tag 3. I know one thing, Yamaha don't want to send me one because they're all sold out multiple times around the world. They know it's super popular. And I could just tell straight away what a great invention. Jack got the Sunburst, very nice. I really like the Torrified. Like I said, I still want to set it up better. But I'm not going to set up a guitar that's got to go back to LR Bags. Thomas Moore, how you doing, buddy? Boomer said I could make it satin finish. Yeah. Imagine that. Hey, Sweetwater, I want a Torrified LR Bags guitar. I want you to sand off the gloss finish. And I want you to make the bridge gloss. And I want you to add stainless steel frets and a plec. That would be a video. But that would be a $3,000 video. Matthews, I love this now because now everyone's got the guitar and we can just talk about it. Now you've all played it. And you can tell me if I'm full of water or not. Still on the fence about the guitar. Looks and feels great. Sound is darn good. Has taken a lot of work to get the fit in the mix. Great for simple rigs without much percussion, bass line, looping. That was my first thought. That's why I wanted to take time before I said anything in a review. The guitar sounds so natural, it's jarring. But it really is in... A lot of this stuff is in the EQ. It's how you EQ it. I think a lot of people, I'm guilty of this too in the past. You plug in, it doesn't sound good, plug straight in. I'm gonna return it. You can't do that. You've got to dial stuff in. You've got to learn how to EQ. I mean, stuff should sound decent, plug straight in. And this does. But you really have to EQ. And there's no point asking me what I would do to EQ. It's all the sound in your head. Like when you strum a chord. Let me see here. Can I do both? Hang on. Yep, 1, 2. Yeah, so when you strum a chord, let me take the reverb off my voice, because this is my singing preset. Da 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 da. When you strum a chord, you have to listen and think, right, what am I hearing? Let me turn off my effects on the guitar and bring the volume up. Look, this is no EQ. What am I hearing that I don't like? Well, first of all, there's a ton of low end, which is nice. Which, funnily enough, is not in... That isn't really in the guitars with the hi-fi duet. I think that's coming from this thin guitar, which is a very strange concept to a lot of people. I'm just going to add my guitar here on the screen. Oh, that looks nice, doesn't it? I like that more. Oh, no, I don't want that. I want this. Hang on. Yeah, bear with me. Okay. That's cool. Oh, I like this new look on the screen. The wide angle shot with the boogie. Boogie get a lot of hate these days, don't they? Boogie. Alright. So, I'd rather have too much bass than too little bass because you can cut bass, but you can't really add it back in again. So, I'm going to go to my... Oh, bring the volume down. Hang on. Whoa. So, the first thing I did, let me go through these one by one. First thing I did is I thought, look, there's way too much bass there. So I just hear that in the room, and the headphone, everything. So I cut that. So what I did was I did what we call a high pass filter, which is like a shelf where it cuts everything below that number. And that number was, don't take my settings, they're mine. -12. And some high pass filters are just preset with a level, and some you can adjust yourself. So this one's minus 12 dB at 136 hertz. Now most people tell you you're crazy if you do that, because the low E is around 80 or just above 80. So there's nothing really below 80. So it doesn't really do anything. And then as you bring it up, listen. I mean, that's 5,000. So there's no low end. So we bring it down to a respectable number. So I mean, I've got no problem going up to 130. People are afraid to do this. I mean, don't. I would go to 150 if you're able to, and then bring it back from there. Well, this mouse is. I need to turn this mouse setting off. Right, check this out. It's 150. You see how much cleaner it is and punchier it is now? It lets the high end come through. A lot of people make a mistake with EQ. They add EQ. You shouldn't add EQ. You should remove it. You should subtract before you add, because if you play this without the bass cut and you think it's too muddy, I want more treble. It's not bright enough, and you add treble on top, then you've got not enough mid range. You've basically scooped the mids. You've got too much low and too much high. You're compensating. What you should do is get rid of that low end that you don't want. So first thing I would do is start at 150 and then gradually bring it down as I'm playing until I'm happy. I mean, that's 120. Still plenty of low end. I think that's too much. I'm going to go 130, 132. I think they should have put a switch on here that did that. 120, you press it and it cuts everything below 120. But anyway, it's good to use external EQ because you can tailor it to your needs. So that's 132. So it's got way more cut now, right? Because I removed that mud. And then what else did I do? Right, the next thing I did was through the speakers I could hear this like cocteau sound, this vroom vroom in the mid-range. And I just went through to find out what that was, and that was around 600, 550. So I cut that by about 10 decibels, which is probably too much. And that made it a bit more airy and not so aggressive in that range. Which I like, but you might not. And then I heard this 2K thing that I always talk about. I hate that other people don't seem to hear. So it must just be me and a couple of my friends that hear that. But I cut that, as I always do, by a lot, as much as I possibly can. So I don't hear that pinging D sound. If I turn that off. It's not quite the right number, but it's got rid of it a little bit. And that's it. So I like that. I'm probably clipping, but... So I think that does a lot of what I'm looking for. And you can go on from there, of course. That's just what I wanted to do at that point. But I think getting rid of a lot of the low end is what really cleans things up. And that's going to sit really nicely in any mix, I think. And then when you take a solo, I've found that it doesn't cut as well as some of my other guitars. That bit too rounded sounding, but I just have to boost that louder. So if I normally boost by 5 dB, I'll have to boost that maybe by 6 dB just to cut through everything else, but that's fine. So yeah, I'm very happy with those settings, I will say. Oh, I like this look. I feel like I'm on Star Wars or something. Like I've got like the Death Star behind me. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna keep this look. Okay. Jack said, Sweetwater did the setup for me at no cost. That's nice, because they don't normally do that. Very cool. At least not for me. But maybe they would if I asked for it. Or maybe if they give you a discount, they won't. If you don't get a discount, they will, kind of thing. They throw something in. I don't know. I asked for it to be lower, which they got perfect. The only danger with that is you don't know how low it was. There's a chance that it was already low when you bought it. You know, be careful with that. Like, I'd love to have Sweetwater plec all my guitars that come through, but what if they don't need it? What if they were fine before they plecked it? So that's my only thing about that. If somehow you could use VR to play the guitar, and then you could say, right, I need that set up before you ship it, that would be wonderful. But that's not possible yet, is it? Yet. Probably never will be. But they got it perfect, so that's good. And I tend to strum into the body for added percussion sounds. Great. He's still playing that retro guitar. I like a D18 and the HD28. Never see too many straight D28. The D18 sounds awesome, but I would go with an HD28. Me too. My friend just got an HD28. Addy? Enjoying the harmonies and doubles on the Voice Live 3 vocals. Experimenting with both acoustic and electric guitars. Might be nice to have both available. Les Paul was okay. Oh, so hot in here. Like I was saying, Rex, I've heard it sound decent. I'll say that, but to me, it's not as fun as the other more modern pedals. Street Ebony fretboard looks so cool. He put an anthem in it with a venue sounded fantastic. Yeah, well, like I said, all personal preference. My D28 with the hi-fi sounds amazing. That pickup would do wonders with D18s as well. Got a feeling that pickup would do really well with a D28 because of the non-scallop bracing. It'll give it some of that mid-cut, naturally EQ boost in that range. Yes, that's true. When you get the bear claw and the streaky ebony fretboards, it does give it character and makes it one of a kind. I guess I'm just boring and like things that are uniform. Matthew says, I'm not offended. Actually wrote that before you spoke. No hurt feeling. No problem. I just know some people are looking for confirmation of what they own. I did that too. We all want to hear that what we bought is the best thing, even though there is no best. So that's why I'm careful what I say. I like buying online. I like when buying online, someone will play a few of them and pick the best sound. Well, don't you? I mean, call me cynical, but when people tell me, "Hey, Aaron, I just played the 5 we have in stock and I picked you at the best one," I don't know. A little part of me thinks, "Did you really?" Well, here's the thing: did you really play them all and pick the best one? And aside from, and I'm not calling out any stores by name here, so I can say what I want. But aside from that, can you believe I just had a haircut? That was a waste of time. Aside from that, what if we have different opinions on this stuff and I wouldn't think it was the best one? I've been doing this too long. I've been buying guitars too long. Use the Sweetwater link. Yes, do. In fact, even if you're not buying anything today, can you do me a huge favor? I'll just stop here now to say, please subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. I'm not leaving, but I'm not leaving. I'm just doing my little ad. Subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. I'm almost at 20,000 subs. It's really exciting for me. And click on this link here right now, even if you're not going to buy something, because it all helps you with the numbers with Sweetwater. I would take a D35 any day over a D28. Probably me too. Over a D28, yes, I probably would too. And oh, I see what I did there. That's why I zoomed out. Okay. Thomas More has a D35, an HD28, and a D18 Clarence White. You see? The trifecta. That's called the trifecta. Thomas More says, I like to see they need that one. They need the D35, the HD28, the D18 Clarence White, and the HD V28 Sweetwater Special for your quadfecta. Hi Charlie, how you doing, man? Martins are addicting, sure. Guitars are addicting. Not gear is addicting, isn't it? How much is a D41? Might as well look. You see, I'm not. I played a D45. I didn't like it at all. Maybe the strings were old, but for me, those 40 series, they used to be different in specs that you look at them 10 years ago. But nowadays, it's mostly looks, in my opinion. And it adds a lot, all that abalone adds a lot of money to a guitar. Huff, how you doing? Hey Aaron, having some impedance issues. Oh dear. Using two guitars during my sets, both running through the same pedal board, muting and switching between songs, right? They're both Taylor Grand Symphonies, different pickups. Well, what pickups are they? That's the question. Because if they're passive, I imagine you're saying impedance, it must be passive pickups. That would cause a potential issue. But most impedance stuff isn't really an issue like people think it is. People online, I almost said something. People online, and even in the real world, will say to you, "Oh, you got to have a 1 megohm impedance with a K&K, or it will self-combust." But the truth is, even if you've got a mismatch in the impedance, and the mismatch is what I'm saying is not what they recommend from the company. Even if you've got that. It might just add more low end where you just EQ it out. It's not really a deal breaker. Having said that, it does affect the tone of the guitar, and if you've got a guitar where you can change that, then a pedal where you can change that, it's between presets like the Quad Cortex, I think you can. That would be quite useful. Do you have an opinion on Aitken guitars? I don't. Never played them. I only play Martin. No, I'm just... I'm kidding. I've got a Rain Song behind me and an LR Baggs guitar in my hand. Hi Aaron, could you recommend a reasonably priced and good sounding passive acoustic magnetic pickup? Been looking at the Damasio Black Angel. I never played the Black Angel or the Fishman Black Stack. I would recommend the Fishman. Is there a reason why you want passive? Because then you got to worry about what you plug it into with that impedance thing we were just talking about. Because I'll take back what I said. Impedance, different levels of impedance are not the end of the world, but plugging a passive pickup into a preamp that doesn't have a high Z input, that can sound like total dog's dinners. Could you recommend a really priced and good sounding passive acoustic magnetic pickups? You want it in the sound hole. I don't use them a lot. Passive. Yeah, I have used the Fishman. I'd say the Fishman. The Fishman humbucker passive I've used, and I liked it. But I would go for the Rare Earth Blend because it's one of the best pickups I've ever played. Even though I don't currently use it, it is one of the best pickups I've ever played. And I recommend it a lot. Andrew Morgan! Sorry, I had to do that. He's in Australia, that's why I did that. You want the Baggs guitar? Look at this guy. I missed most of the show. Well, thanks for announcing that, David. I'll give you a hint. It doesn't matter. You're absolutely fine. I know you're worried. It's absolutely fine because I know you're upset and you're distraught that you've missed the program. I will say today's program was very good. It had some musical performance and it had some some buying advice on some secret gear that a lot of people don't know about. And it had a lot of friendship as well and jovial times. But the great news, David, this is recorded in 4K and it will be saved as soon as I finish the stream in about 20 minutes. It will be immortalized on YouTube. So what you can do tonight, I want you to not worry too much. I want you to get yourself a nice meal, sit down, get the big screen TV up working, okay? Dust it off, clean off the screen, and put your feet up and really enjoy the show. And then when you finish the show, just to be sure, I want you to go back and watch the whole thing again, okay? And then you won't have to worry that you missed most of the show. And then I'll just tell you this, next week, please be on time, okay? Please be on time next week, because next week's may not be available to watch again. It might be a very special one-off that's only one and done. So I'm going to say that now, just so you know. Huff, one with the okay, guitar with the ES1, well that's active, so it shouldn't be a problem with the impedance. And one with K&K Trinity. Well, to run the Trinity, the mic and the pickup, you're running it into a preamp to balance the two levels and to power the mic. So that's not going to be a problem with impedance either, because it's got a powered preamp. Can't find a sweet spot for both on the Para DI. Do I need a different DI? Well, you might want different settings for each one. K&K make a preamp for the Trinity with some internal EQ and the blend. I would get that, run that into the Para DI. And then the Para DI is more of a global thing for both of them. It might be hard to get a good sound out of both with the same DI. You know what I mean? You almost want two DIs, or to change the preset when you change guitars so it's for that particular guitar. Then you want to go digital, so you can digitally change to the other preamp settings for that guitar, because they are very different. The ES1 and the K&K Trinity are very different systems. David likes a lot of low end. To each their own. Throw some thumbs up. Thank you, Poo Ninja. I forgot to say that. Please like the stream, because I know you like it, because you're still here. Unless you hate it so much you just can't even be bothered to get up and turn it off. Get something with a buffer on the front of the board. But again, you don't. If you've got an active pickup, you don't need it. Oh, you like that? Good. Huff said, "Oh snap! I thought a buffer just primarily helped cable length and signal loss." Yes, it can do, or it does. I know there are EQ DIs like the Felix has 2 inputs. You can EQ and adjust impedance of both channels. Yes, I would do that, and then you can switch between them. So either something like the Felix with the 2 analog things, or a cheap multi-effects will have the ability to have the 2 settings that you can go between. Exactly. There are cheaper alternatives, but they are considered to be the best. But I would probably go digital. It's going to be cheaper and more versatile. We need a rant. I don't really have a rant today. I've got to make a well, I don't like saying what videos I'm going to make. I never do it. So you'll see tomorrow. I'm not in that kind of mood. Raul, have you tried the Mojo Tone NC2? How would it compare to other pickups? I use it with my FERC, and I think it sounds great. And how it would compare to other pickups? There's several, aren't there? I tried one of the first ones they made, and it was a single coil, and I just found it too noisy to really get behind. And then they released a humbucker version, and I never tried that one. I might like that one, but problem is with that kind of thing, it depends on your environment. You might live somewhere where the single coil's absolutely fine, but where I live, it didn't work out. But they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool design, and I like the form factor and everything. But as I said, for me, I really like that rare earth blend. Yes, I know, Andrew. That's why I did it. I knew you'd like that. Sal, how you doing? You got a question? Quickly ask your question because I'm leaving soon. Rex only has 2 minutes left on the spin workout. Have a great week. Thank you, Rex. Let me give you. I'll give you all the heads up for this week. There's a really cool announcement coming tomorrow that most people won't be able to get on board with because well, you'll see tomorrow. But there's something cool coming out tomorrow, or being formally announced tomorrow. And then I think there's a lot of new firmware about to drop. Quad Cortex said they're releasing a new firmware around the end of this month. And I believe all the other modelers should have new firmware in the coming weeks as well, at least from what I've heard. So that's exciting. And I can't believe how close we are to NAMM. It's going to be the last week in January, which is just like, what's that, like 8 weeks away? Crazy. So, crazy, crazy times. All right. Sal said, I'm working hard on my new headrush core since from July. Yeah, it's a cool pedal. It's not perfect. And a few people have told me things since I posted my video about it that they would like to see changed. Hang on. Excuse me. Would like to see changed, but I'm hoping I can talk to Headrush and maybe relay that information to them. But for what it does, the things it does well, it does really well. I will say that. It's a cool pedal. And like I said in the video, there's not many companies that are making those products. So thank you. I hope more people start to do it soon. I'm using Quad Cortex for this playing today. It's great in so many ways, but it doesn't have... It's just not there yet still. It hasn't got enough... You know, I feel like it needs like another 10 years of development and it will be something I can actually use all the time. But having said that, I'm using it as my interface today and I love it for that. So I'm definitely getting my value from it now. And I definitely take it to any band gig. Absolutely fine. But for this solo singer thing, there's just not many people that are really getting it. Harmonies are a really big deal with that head rush. Yeah, they're not as good as they could be, but at least they're there. I'll just say that. All right. Ending on a negative note. I'm going to play out. I'm going to do some playing. So thanks for watching. Like I said, if you're new here, please subscribe, ring the bell. It says about 80% of people watching the videos, it says they're returning every month, which is great to watch old videos and new videos. But unfortunately, they are not subscribed. So please subscribe. I know it's just a numbers thing, but it does help. Make sure you subscribe, ring the bell, share the video, like a video, all that kind of stuff. Check out the videos I posted the last few days. I did a detailed comparison of the 3 guitars. It's only 2 minutes long, of the 3 Bags guitars. And see what you think of that. And watch out for some videos this week coming soon. And then I'll see you again next Monday. Thanks to Rosanna for moderating. Jim says, do you know if I can alter my James May Ultratonic with a 2-source jack? I don't know. You'd have to ask. You should ask him because he's very receptive to emails as far as I know. And he will know the answer to that. So send an email right now to James at Audio Sprockets and Ultratonic. Yeah, thank you very much. It's been great as always. And I'll see you in a video this week. I've got lots of stuff coming. I've got a whole pile of stuff over here to work my way through before NAMM. So hopefully that will get done before then. And hopefully I'll get some more stuff then. But like I said earlier, I only want to talk about stuff that I'm really interested in. So having said that, I'm going to play you out. I'll see you next time. Take care and be well. Bye-bye.
Oh man, goddamn, bought another six string today. Vintage wood, shiny frets, strumming blues while the sun fades. All these guitars, can't help myself. Why can't I quit this ever-growing need? Oh man, goddamn, bought another six string today. Vintage wood, shiny frets, strumming blues while the sun fades. All these guitars, can't help myself. Why can't I quit this ever-growing need? Sneaking inside, just another piece of art, a new love to find. Strings humming with a history, each one with a tale.